Why not just use regular insecticide?
Well, what do you mean by regular insecticide? If you mean synthetic petroleum-based,
Yeah, you can buy that at a store.
I mean, that's the
What's
point
the
is
advantage?
the point is to do a sustainable garden. And our whole premise is that the petroleum-based economy and agribusiness is not a sustainable proposition for the planet. Petroleum-based agriculture is very expensive, it's polluting, it's not ultimately healthy or the best way of growing food. It's really not sustainable. And so the idea of this garden would be to use naturally occurring plants, insects that will kill the pests instead of having to use synthetic fertilizers or synthetic pesticides. We can plant garlic, we can plant onions, and different herbs such as pennyroyal that would repel pests. And then we can also plant flowers that will attract insects that will eat the pests, and that way we won't have to use any synthetic fertilizer or synthetic pesticide.
So that those items would repel, those particular plants would repel pests?
Well, the idea of having flowers would be to attract insects, birds, that would eat the pests.
So it's not just for beautification?
Not just for beautification, but to serve a dual purpose. And so the next aspect of this would be to continue our research and to discover exactly what type of flowers that are specific for repelling pests. But we know, for example, that things such as garlic, pennyroyal are plants that you can put in the ground that will repel the pests. So that would be part of our next project, would be to start planting some garlic, some pennyroyal, some different herbs like mints and so forth, and continue our research to discover what would be the best plants or flowers that would both beautify and
protect
and control the pests. The soil preparation stage, we're in the first two stages of our garden. The Old Schoolhouse, Espanola Old Schoolhouse Organic Garden Project, Sustainable Organic Garden Project, inspired by the Growing Power movement. Here we have a very sandy soil in north-central Florida, North Florida. First thing we would have to do is get about a quarter of the soil and take it to the local agricultural extension so that we can have a soil analysis. But immediately apparent is the fact that the soil is very sandy. However, in this case, we had a bit of nice dark soil here, which was most likely by burning firewood and having wood burnt, and so we have a bit of charcoal in the ground. But what we had to do today was to secure about 100 pounds of cow manure, which we then worked into the soil. What we did today was secure about 100 pounds of cow manure, which we then worked into the soil, and we began planting our flowers for pest control and beautification. And so once we get the results of our soil analysis, we will know if we need to add more manure, because the reason we have to add this manure is, of course, because sandy soil is very porous, and so nutrients such as nitrogen is leached out of the soil very quickly. Our approach is to plant in harmony with nature, and so we advocate planting by the moon, faces of the moon, which means that today being the 1st of February, that the next few days would be ideal for planting our first crops of this project. Close-up of our project. We're going to have 3 plots. This back here is our best plot so far, because this is where we have the most amount of silt mixed with the sand, as well as a good amount of carbon material from wood fires being burnt, leaving charcoal in the ground. So this is our best plot here. This would be our second best, which is very sandy. But we have fortified it with a good amount of cow manure. Next time we'll speak about the results of our soil analysis, and then we'll add some more manure. And this weekend again, we're going to begin planting our root crops and some salad greens, some early spring vegetables, and some more flowers. Begin to moisturize our few new plants, our beautification and pest control plants. See how sandy the soil is? The water's running off, not very absorbent. And so that's why we need that manure. And so a major part of our project then is going to have to be building up the soil.
What do you think of a chicken with 5 legs, Malik? 6 legs.
When I think about it,
Tastes good.
that's an all-you-can-eat buffet.
There you go.
There'll be more meat, but it's a freak chicken.
I don't care unless it's good. I'm straight.
So what about you are what you eat? What would that make you if that's what you eat? Make you a freak, wouldn't it?
It'll make me a cannibal too.
Cannibal?
Yes.
How so?
Cause I'm eating my own kind.
Yeah, but if it's a freak chicken and you're eating this freak meat, there might be, there's a lot of fallout.
If you have freak,
Anything if I can cure this hunger.
Okay, well, now food doesn't have to come from the normal system of pesticides and hormones.
It never used to. That's
It never used to, right?
Only about 100 years old. I mean, for the last 100,000 years, we've been growing food in harmony with nature. The last 100 years, it's become totally artificial. And what
Right.
you end up having is a bunch of people that are dumbed down, mind-controlled, inoculated, vaccinated, encrypted, and chemicalized.
Right, that's what you got to think about, Malik. Think about the natural foods, without the pesticides, without the hormones, with all those chemicals.
That way, that's
It's
why-
healthier for you.
That's where you get your cancers from and all your degenerative diseases, from eating all of these chemicals in food.
But then they talk about that in school.
No.
They didn't. Natural
I
food.
don't want y'all to know about that in school.
They are bad people, so stay from school, kids.
At the greenhouse, what you do is you get like you like stick a hole in here, and then you run a stick through all of these.
Right. You need about
wire.
a right.
That'll be like one of these. You can make one of these with bottles. Just run a stick or a piece of wire through about all the way from here. You just run them through,
Yeah.
and then you wire them together, and that would be your walls.
Oh, now you need about 1,000 bottles.
Well, a little greenhouse, for maybe a 8x8 greenhouse.
Okay. Well,
And, you know,
start saving those bottles,
People,
Malik.
This way of growing food in society is not sustainable.